Millions of people nationwide now behind on their mortgage payments. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows, no sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. Hope everybody's doing great. Let's jump back on the real estate merry-go-round and examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the
Scott, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine and unicorns.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the economic cracks. We got some cracks to look through today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So here we go. Let's get started. I laugh at this stuff sometimes. It's like a built-in self-defense mechanism to wrap my head around the severity, the magnitude of the waters we're now swimming in. Listen, friends, I say this pretty much at the start of every show. Anytime the housing market exhibits bubble behavior, it comes with some percentage of crash risk. It exhibited not only bubble behavior, the biggest overnight bubble ever witnessed in human history. Oh, well, that's nice, Scott. Hey, do you know what crypto's? No! You need to know what real estate's doing. Why, you ask? Well, of course I'm going to tell you. Because if we lose it, we lose everything. We will be thrusted into a deep cycle recession. A potential depression is knocking at the door based on the size of this real estate bubble that we're currently in. Why, you ask? Well, of course I'm going to tell you. Because real estate's the biggest asset class on planet Earth. Like I said, if we lose it, we lose everything. It takes the economy down for the count, along for the ride. Not only our economy, the global economy. It's what happened in 2008. And 2008 looks like a warm-up compared to what we're up against now. In fact, the data for all our data-driven people. Where's the data, Scott? I'm a walking, talking piece of data. I'm a walking, talking temperature check. Own real estate. I lived through 2008. I suffered some of this blowback. I've weathered the storm with good real estate. I've let go of bad real estate. I love people. But I know the data is important, and I use it too. In fact, here's a little piece of historical data for anybody that's interested. Recessions have cycled throughout history like clockwork. They always come. We are in the depression cycle, a deep cycle recession, not like 2008, like 1929. Insanity. Wake. I hope you're awake. If you're new, get subscribed. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, today. There's never been a more important time in history to get centered, surrounded with like-minded people where iron can sharpen iron. We're going to sharpen a little iron today. So millions of people are defaulting on their mortgages. And I reported on this maybe a year or two ago because as a real estate agent working in the biggest bubble ever recorded in human history, that was quite entertaining. It was like an episode of Twilight Zone, a showdown at the OK Corral, a shootout in the Wild West. Insanity. Now I work in the $1 Million District. Oprah, Ellen, they're all here. I'm so grateful that the guy got me started. I almost quit the business because of him, but he was a $1 billion agent. I got advice when you get into real estate, find the hottest broker in town and offer to be their assistant for free for a year. And that's what I did. Gnarliest broker in town, mega mansions. Scott, I need you to hold an open house out of this mega mansion this weekend. Okay, I'll do it. Insane. I had to look the part, act the part, act like I was a $1 million agent, but always act your way into the right way of thinking. If you're waiting to think your way in the right way, you're going to think forever. Go out there and act like a success, even if you're not one yet. Your mindset is so important. But I owe a lot to that guy. I almost quit the business. He was a grinder. He also taught this stuff. He was in the law degree. He was an agent. He had his own brokerage on the Rodeo Drive of town. And he let me know that he was smarter than me every chance he got. But people liked me more than him, and I think that bothered him. And that's why I always took the liberty to let me know anytime that he was smarter than me. And he was. He'd been doing it for a long time. Had over $1 billion in personal sales. Incredible. Incredible dude. But with that being said, here's the challenge, my friends. Like I said, while back when I started reporting in the midst of the bubble, like, hey, I was just a deer in the headlights, like a lot of you. Hey, guys, I'm an essential worker. I'm out here selling real estate in California, and there's some crazy stuff going on. Bidding wars, waiving inspections, contingencies, lines around the block, naming your firstborn to the previous owner if you'll sell their house to you. Like anything and everything is happening. In fact, we used to be able to submit personal letters along with our offer before the crisis to appeal to the owners? Like, hey,
We want to raise a family, and we just really love the house, and it's close to the school district or the kids' school.
and, hoping to appeal to somebody's good nature. But this became greed. Nobody cared. They didn't care what your stops were. I got a Wall Street all cash for this family that is getting a loan. I'll take the all cash. And their agent's like, take the all cash deal. It's got a higher percentage of closing. And it's all cash. This one could fall apart on us. In fact, I think they got to borrow money from their parents because they're going over in appraised values. The bank's going to require that. That's what it's up against. That's what it's up against. Well, I reported back then that this didn't pass the smell test. The dust would settle. There would be blowback. We would pay the piper for overheating the biggest asset class on planet Earth. And in fact, that's what's happening right now. We're going to take a look here at some numbers in a moment. But I was doing some forecasting back then, because that's what I do, is economic forecasting. And even and for all intents and purposes, like I'm fortunate, I'm blessed. Thank you. I don't rely on commissions to pay my bills. Otherwise, I couldn't give these talks. I couldn't. Well, I could, and I probably still would, because I'm at the point in my life now where I don't base my self-worth on what I drive and what I own anymore. Confidence is an inside job. If you need an outside job like a car or a house to make you feel, you're never going to be confident. And if you are, it's going to be see-through. It's just going to be arrogance, not confidence. And that's a hard tightrope to walk, especially as a salesperson in the real estate where it's cutthroat. Throw your colleagues under a bus, shark-infested waters, right? Oh, now how many sales did you have? Oh, I sold for over. Everybody's selling for over asking. Get off your grandstand. My goodness, insanity, right? Kind of bugged me, clearly. But I really love people, and that's why I'm in sales. Most people can't handle sales because it's hard and it's high pressure. But when the pressure's off, because you're like, I can walk away from this sale. I don't need it. I got other income. It frees you up to come do what I'm doing today. So if you're new, like I said, get subscribed. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today, because you probably won't find this many places. But I reported over 10 million people, let me repeat, over 10 million people bought at the height of what? A real estate bubble. What kind of bubble? The biggest bubble ever recorded. When? In human history. 10 million people bought at the top, tippy top of the biggest bubble ever recorded in human history. So I don't care if you have a 0% interest rate. If you can't keep up with your payments, that rate doesn't seem. But Scott, those are the golden handcuffs. Nobody will ever sell out of those 3% interest rates. Well, people are selling out of them because their houses are going upside down. If it's not worth what they paid for it, it doesn't matter. They can't keep up with the cost of living. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So if over 10 million people bought at the height of a super bubble, that's basically what we're looking at. Well, today we're going to take a look and see how many people currently are behind or at risk of becoming behind on their mortgage payments. So to drive our point home today, let's jump over, take a look at that. Then we're going to meet back here and wrap it up. Let's get started. All right, friends, buckle up, strap in, roll up your windows, lock your doors. According to the job killer ChatGPT, roughly 3 to 4 million mortgages/households may be behind on payments to some degree, and perhaps 1 to 1.5 million are in more serious trouble. That's about 5 million mortgages currently at risk. Not looking good. Let's jump back to the studio and wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. And there you go. So based on my estimates, and the numbers are changing, and they're not, here's the challenging part, and I shouldn't laugh. I apologize for laughing because there's really no laughing matter. But you have to laugh at this stuff, really, because life's so serious, I remember I was on a tennis court, and this young girl, she's just like, oh, what stocks are you in right now? What? Is that the conversation we're having on tennis courts? Like, I don't know, golf, tennis, I get it. But it was like, during the casino climate of stimulus, everybody's pouring into Webull and Robinhood and thought they were smart all of a sudden. Insanity. But the reality is this. As we speak, another person just went upside down in their mortgage. As we speak, another person just went delinquent on their mortgage payment. As we speak, another person just lost their tech job. As we speak, another person just became at risk of not being able to make their housing payment. I could go on. Would you like me to? I don't think I need to. Based on the numbers we just saw, we're approaching about I shouldn't have laughed. I did it. 5 million people. at risk or behind on their mortgage payment. Over 10, around 10 million people bought at the height of a super bubble. I'm wondering, it doesn't give us, because the data for all our data-driven people, it's not given, you can't get that data, or it's going to be a deep dive if you can. You're going to be deep in the weeds to find that one. How many people do you want to guess out of that approximately approaching 5 million people at risk or behind on their mortgage payments are the 10 million that bought at the height of a super bubble? My guess is a very high percentage. And final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life, understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark infested. America, welcome to the swimming pool. You overheated the biggest asset class on planet Earth. Over 10 million people bought into a super bubble and went above and beyond appraised values. We now see almost 5 million are behind or at risk of being behind on their mortgage payments. My guess is a lot of those, if not all, are the people that bought in at the top of this market. If we start losing homes at the rate I'm projecting and seeing and just showed you that we're potentially going to start losing homes at, the government won't be able to stop that. It's going to be too big to save. If they do, it's going to be a crazy, crazy type of bailout that you don't want to see. This is a very important time. I got a call from a caller the other day, and they said, hey, you had mentioned that you thought it was better to rent than to own. I said, well, it just depends on where you live and what your price range is, and everybody's different. That's why anytime I get you guys calling in or emailing in for help with real estate, I always talk to you personally first, because I ask questions that you would expect from a therapist or a counselor, because it's really important for me to be able to help people properly. I'm not just going to say, oh, I'm smart in real estate and this and that. I'm not going to tell you. We got to understand. Right now, if you can buy real estate with a standard amount down at today's interest rate and put the property's payment cost to carry within its rent range, then that's a safe buy. But most people didn't look at that when they bought. Those 5 million people are approaching that are going delinquent. They didn't. You know how I know that? Because if they did, they would be able to put a renter in there and somebody else would be making that payment, and they could go jump in some cracker box studio apartment if that's what it takes to make it work, which is what they should have looked at initially anyway. Rent the place out, live in a cracker box, do that for 10 years, and then you have a mass real estate portfolio cash flowing every month, and then you go buy that McMansion or house that you were determined to buy in a super bubble. I would never suggest anybody do anything that I'm not doing or willing to do myself. Insulate yourself in these times. Understand the waters that you're swimming in. Always look at real estate the right way. Make sure you get with a good agent, whether you're selling or you're buying, somebody you can trust. It's hard. Reach out to me if needed. I got the top rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. I'm not here to sell myself as your realtor, a real estate agent, or put you together with one. I'm just here to open up your eyes and protect you. And that's why I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way. Because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media, link in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network, top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It would be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless. I'll see you on the next video.